Evening, ladies and gents. Njabulo Nsibande here. Simon Brown will not be joining us, so this is recording his radio show. Studios are closed with COVID-19 and stuff. As you guys may aware, I've been away for some time now. We've been dealing with personal matters. Life happens at times. But I am back at the minute. Joining you guys today on for the Trader Series 30 June. Like I said, Simon will not be joining us today. That's what I want to do. Cool. A quick reminder that you can lose more money than you start with, especially when trading CFD accounts. Join Thick Markets on their weekly webinar, and let's get back straight into some charts. If you do have question, please do pop them up on the Q&A box, and that's what I'm monitoring the most at the minute. Just try bring up the chat. Yes. Okay. So in my absentia, the JC looked like it got broken for quite a bit. There's quite a bit of a sell-off. I got stopped quite a lot. I got stopped in a lot of trades. I got stopped on True Words, and I got triggered back in on the trade. Entered yesterday. That was the breakout that triggered me in that candle there. It kept quite strongly in the morning as I was entering, and I just entered anyway, reducing my position size. And I also got stopped on Aspen, but I'll be jumping back into the trade tomorrow morning as the stock breaks back back above the 50-day exponential moving average. Perhaps I was a little bit too aggressive with my stop. It was somewhere around that 158 level, just below the traffic there. I got stopped with the candle there. Perhaps below that swing, I should have kept it below that swing low there, but that's neither here nor there anymore. I'll be jumping back into the stock with a stop loss around that 155.60, 155.70 level tomorrow when the market opens. I also got stopped on SPA. Yeah, SPA has experienced quite a bit of a sell-off. I acted on the triple bottom there. Okay, guys, I got disconnected there for a second. Please let me know if you can still see my screen by raising a hand and you can still hear my voice. I'm not. Perfect. So yeah, I got stopped on SPA. I got triggered on that triple bottom there as we were breaking back above the 200-day and the 50-day exponential moving average, and subsequently we've had the negative golden cross there. So I'm staying away when the 50-day exponential moving average is below the 200-day exponential moving average and the price below the 200-day moving average. Also got stopped on Nikkei. Stopped on took a bunch of small losses. Recently, similarly, I got stopped on Remgro on that pullback there. But on the close above that 117 level, I'll jump back into the trade with a stop loss just below that swing low there, just below that 50 exponential moving average. I also got stopped while still building the old mutual position. But suddenly break back above the 1367 level, I'll jump back into the stop with a stop loss just below the 200-day exponential moving average, just below the swing low there. Nice tight stop there. Also got stopped on Tiger Brands. Also got stopped on Tiger Brands as seems like that was a false break. Coming back into that 200, 218 range. But we'll see, as it looks like it's holding the 200-day exponential moving average. So if we get it close through 218, I'll place my stop just below the 200-day exponential moving average. I could see that as a resistance, that candle there, but there's an obvious overhead resistance. So I'll just wait for a close back above the 218 level, and I'll jump back into the trade. I also got stopped on APSA, but I jumped back into the trade. When we closed back above the 134 level yesterday, I entered back earlier this morning. Yeah, I got stopped on that pullback there. I'll be rebuilding this position. Now, when we get it close through 143, I'll be adding to my position and trading my stop. We'll see how the market takes care of itself as it moves to that 143 level or not. Yeah, so I also got stopped on Rand Merchant. Uh, as you can see, man, I think it was the past 2 weeks. There was quite a bit of selling off at the JSE across the board, including the top 40. Nice bull flag there on Glencore. Resources miners, they starting to look like they're holding their ground again. So I'm looking for a close through that 6360 level, and I'll be placing my stop rather just below that swing low there, below that at that 57 rand level. If you get it close through 6360, I'll take the position. And again, when we get it close through 6670, I'll add to the position with a stop loss perhaps just below there, and maybe there actually. When I get it close through 6430 or 6427, there's about, I'll add again to the position with a stop loss, putting my stop to that 60 rand level. Building this position nice and slow, and ultimately, if we can get it close through 6670, then we'll most likely be off to the races, because we starting to enter the new highs territory. I got stopped on New Metro as well. So I came bitterly close from triggering me back into the position. But I'll wait for a close through that 1954 level, 1960 level. If we can get a close above that, I'll take the position with a stop loss just below those lows there at 1850. Next is also got stopped on Balo. So I got stopped on Balo. As you can see, that massive sell-off there. But today I got triggered in. I'll be entering this position tomorrow when the market opens with a stop loss just below that swing low there, just below that 50-day exponential moving average at around 100 Rand 50 on Balo. I also got stopped on Capitec. This is one of the fewer trades where I got stopped at a profit. I'll be jumping back into this trade. I think the profit was at about like a 6% return on Capitec. Another stock probably was a little bit aggressive on the stop loss there, but if we with the close that we got, close above that high there, that high close there, I'll add to the position with a stop loss of that 1593, and then again I'll add to the position once you get it close through a new high close at that 1723 level. Then I'll pull my stop to around that 1626 on Capitec. I'm liking Capitec quite a lot, and the banks generally over the past, at least this week, have been looking quite decent this week and last week. APSA as well, rather Sasol. I got stopped in Sasol. Now I'm waiting for Sasol to break back into a higher box. At first I'll put my stop at the 294 level, and then when we get a second shot at entries there, when we get it close back above the 240 levels, I'll add to 240 level. I'll add to the position with now a stop loss at 211, and once we break through 250, I'll add to the position, and then I'll see how the market treats itself. for me to place a stop there. First rank looking quite bullish. Today closed above the 50-day exponential moving average, but not so convincingly. If you can get a nice convincing close through that 53.80 level, I will take the position with a stop loss. I also got stopped in this position with a stop loss at 50.90. I think I got stopped at a small loss. Yeah, I got stopped at just 1% loss. I also got stopped in telecom, but jumping back into the trade, I was looking for a close back above that high close there. The stock holding the 50-day exponential moving average with a nice bullish engulfing candle there. So tomorrow I'll be taking this position with a stop loss just below that 50-day exponential moving average and just below that swing low at around 43.60. And I believe that's about it with regards to stocks that stopped me out when I was away. I'm looking at my alerts, so I have alert triggers on all these stocks that are here. On the Fig Markets platform that have the 50-day exponential moving average above the 200-day exponential moving average. But this alerts feature isn't working quite as nicely as I hoped it would. So I have a trigger on Astro Foods. Nice breakout there, nice strong break. Take the position with a stop loss initially below the 200-day exponential moving average. As you can see, there's still quite a bit of volatility on Astral Foods. And then on the second entry on the position, I'll put my stop at that 145 level and then, start to build the position. If we can get a close through, just duplicate that. If we can get a close through 164, I'll add to the position with a stop loss now at 146, unless I have a better, a better place to place a stop that is quite a distance away. Nice golden cross, nice round bottom cap and handle type of formation. The stop looking fairly decent. Nice strong break. Another breakouts, another alert that got triggered was on Nepi Rock. If I jump back to the weekly charts, nice head and shoulders pattern there. The right shoulder taking quite a bit of time to break out. So yeah, the right shoulder forming in this nice round bottom there with a breakout. Today, I'll take the position with a stop loss at around the 95 rand level. I'm liking this move on Nepi Rock. Like I said earlier, Aspen, I'll be jumping back into the trade on Aspen with a nice tight stop there at 155. Maybe 155.60, 155.30. There's about just to give it a little bit of breathing room. And I also check on my ATR. I think that drops me to one. That's around 450. So 162 minus 9 rand. That drops me at around 153. There's about. So I'll be placing my stop just 2 times ATR away. And then again, when we break through that 171 level, which is in fact rather that 168 level, which was a level I was watching to add to the position. When we break back above that 168 level, I'll add to my position. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to prop them up as we get along. Please use the Q&A box because that's the only one that I'm monitoring. I can't pick up the chat, my GP thing. Oh, there it is there. EPSA as well. That was yesterday's trigger. As I entered, I entered this morning, and then again on I had a trigger on Discam, a position I entered this morning as well. So now let's look at my open positions. Open and upside still looking quite decent. Bitcoin. With pickup, I'm waiting for a breakthrough, a new high close at that 319.50 level. If you can get a new high close there, I'll add to my position with a stop loss there at around 302. At the minute, my stop loss is at break even on Bitcup. Okay. So yeah, guys, if your question is not time sensitive, I'll get to it in the end. Also, do feel free to pop in chat requests on the Q&A box there. Bitvest, looking quite, holding the 50-day exponential moving average. If I zoom it back a little bit, there was that nice long trend. Maybe let me just back into the weekly chart. Um, that nice long trend line there, we break through it, and I was building this position. As you can see, my buys, looking quite strong. Um, and now, if you can get through that 201 level, I'll add again to the position. And right now, I'm just glad that I survived that sell off on Bidvest, and I missed my stop bitterly close. Missed my stop by what was the low? 182.86 by about 20 cents. I missed my stop by about 20 cents, or there's about um, Richmond looking fairly decent. It broke out of that range there and just didn't look back. It just kept on moving and moving. So now, if I can get a close through that 177, I'll add to the position with a stop loss there at 168. Um, Trade is already in a small bit of profit, basically breaking even. If you can get it close through that 177 level, I'll add to the position, trailing my stop to that 168.80 level. Clicks has been sideways bound for quite a minute now. But I look holding that 200-day exponential moving average even today, even after breaking that 50-day exponential moving average, coming back. But I don't know if it was saved by the bell, or it was actually holding that 200-day exponential moving average. We shall see as the market moves probably tomorrow. And if you can get it close through, actually, I will not take more positions within the range. But if we can get through 263, I'll add to the position. And then again, if we can get through, it's that level 278.20, I'll add again to that position. Another one I'm liking quite a bit that broke out and didn't look back was Discam. It had a new high close. At least a little over a year, a new high close there yesterday, and today. I think it did make a new yearly high today. We'll see. But it's definitely a calendar year high. It did make a calendar year high today, and it did make a new calendar close high yesterday as I entered. I'm liking this cam quite a bit, and as it moves higher, I'll trail my stop to just below that traffic there. I just wanted to give it a little bit more room and not to be stopped by a meaningless move there. My biggest holding in in my portfolio at the minute is about sitting at about 20% of my position on Distal. I'm looking for a breakthrough that 172 level. It's that. Looks like there's quite a bit of selling there at that 172 level. If you can get it close through that level, I'll add to the position. But look like volume has dried. Just by looking at the chart, it looks like the volume has dried up on Distal. But if we can get through that 172 level with a bit of volume, that would be quite interesting. I'll add again to the position with a stop loss just below, or rather, I'll have to, because so my positioning sizing now is kind of my positioning sizing is a bit dynamic. So typically, when I'm taking position at the start, I risk 1% of my account balance, not my account equity. I risk 1% of my account balance, and as the trade moves into profit, I increase my risk on new entries. So once my profit exceeds 10%, subsequent entries I'll start risking 2%, and once I exceed 20%, I increase my position size to 3%, and then above 30% goes to 4%, and once we get above 40%, which is the case on Distal, it moves to 5% of my position. So the point is not to be big on any random trade, but to big on the right trades, and they have to prove themselves to me. So with Distel, that's that last position there, I risk about 5% of my account balance, because the trader was about 40% in profit. As you can see, my very first entry there was at 72.50. This is the power of holding, sitting tight. This is what Jesse Livermore was talking about, when he says he made his big money on sitting. So yeah, when you get it close through 172, I'll trail my stop to that 162 level. And as a result, since I'm taking slightly bigger position than I normally do in the beginning of the trade, I have to subsequent entries. I can only take new positions once the stop loss is above the last entry. So at this moment, I'll just be trading my stop until my stop is somewhere above that 172.08 level. Yeah, not 175. You never know. If I can get my stop to that level, then I'll add more positions, risking a further 5% on that position. Exaro, surprisingly, I was not stopped on Exaro. Even on that sell-off. So that big gap there, I think it has been closed, or we've quite close from closing the gap. That was a dividend gap. They paid a huge dividend. I moved my stop quite a distance away. Now I've been trading it back up. I think I'm sitting at about 4%, or just under just a little over 3%. Next, as it moves higher, if you can get it close through that 174, I'll trail my stop to that 161 level, further reducing the risk on the trade until ultimately I have no risk on the trade. But certainly, when you get it close through that 184 level, I will add to the position. As the risk on the trade will now be much less than 1%. Of course, factoring the dividend as well. So unfortunately, it's been moving quite nicely. Actually, once, even though there's a nice symmetrical triangle breakout yesterday, I want to close through that 160, 163 level. It feels like there's still a bit of resistance there. If you can get it close through that 163.41 level, I'll add to the position with a nice stop just below that island there. So for now, I'm just if you get it close through 163, that reversal island pattern would most likely be invalidated. So it would be safe for me to place a stop below the traffic there around that 147 level, and I'll add again. I'll add to the position with the stop loss there at 147.60. Growth Point seem to be the leader of the pack when it comes to the property stocks. I say this very loosely because I haven't been looking at the other property stocks and how they were doing. But Growth Point looking quite decent. I'm still struggling with that 50 rand resistance level there. I thought the president's address with regards to the lockdown and work from home and that sort of thing will panic the market and put the stock down. Plus, most of these property stocks are struggling with low rates. Companies are struggling with keeping up with their dividends amid the pandemic. So if you can get it close through that 15 rand level, I'll add to the position with a stop loss there at break even around that 1450, 1480 level, perhaps just below that 50-day exponential moving average. If you can get through 15 rand 10 or 15, if you can get through that 1506 level, I'll add to the position and show my stop there behind me. Imperial Logistics, trade that I'm liking quite a bit. I'm liking quite a bit. I entered on that bull flag there. If you can get through that 51 Rand, 51.12 level, I'll add to the position and trail my stop. And then again, if you can get through, 51.64, and again, that 54. Once we get through that 54, call it 54.90, I'll be more and more, my conviction will rise as the stock closes higher and higher. Investec, I'm looking quite decent, still consolidating, forming that bull flag, but I won't be entering on the break of the. So let me just remove all the tools. The bull flag there. Nice bullish flag there. But because if I enter directly on the break there, I'll be entering at a lower level than my previous entry. So as a result, if we can get it close to that 58.10 level, I'll add to the position with a stop loss just below that 50-day exponential moving average, around that 53 Rand 60 and some change. Investec looking fairly decent. Life Healthcare, a big sell-off. I don't think I would have survived this had I been trading. I probably would have been stopped out to survive it because I didn't move my stop because I was away. And then when I came back, I pulled my stop to just below that pause there at 21.20, and I would have secured a little bit of profit. Um, so if you can get through 25.77, I'll add again to the position. But that 21.20 levels feels very far. Even the 22 Rand, it feels very far if I'm going to enter to 25 Rand. So probably the market will give me a better level to place my stop. We'll see. But for now, I'm just looking at that 25.77 level. MTN, I'll be adding to this position tomorrow. So it came back testing the support of this new box, with a nice doji, just the 50-day exponential moving average breaking back above, nice green strong close today. I'll be adding to this position with this trading my stop to that 98 Rand 20 level. On MTN, and then again I'll add to the position if we can get through that 108.90 level. Netbank is looking fairly decent, nice bullish flag there, but I want to close through that 177.63 level. If you can get through that, I'll trail my stop to that 164.34 level to break even at that last trade, securing quite a bit of profit. I'm liking Netbank quite a bit. It broke and didn't look back. I like that in the stock when the stock just breaks and keeps on moving. Pepco also looking very good. So if you can get through 20.90, I'll add to my position, putting my stop to that 1940 level. At the minute, I'm sitting with quite a bit of profit, but I think about 4 or 5% on Pepco, looking fairly decent there. Nice bullish flag breakout, holding above the 50-day exponential moving average. I wanted a break through that level. I had initially missed the trade, but fortunately for me, the market held around this level, so I was had the time still to take the trade. So if we can now get it close through, make a new higher high. With a close above that 108 level, I'll add to my position with a stop loss just below this traffic, just below the 50-day exponential moving average, around the 100 Rand level. ShopRite looking very good. So if that 156 level seems to be holding quite strongly, but if you can get through that level, I'll add to my position, depending if I can get a decent place to place a stop, because this is still far too close, about a 1 rand higher. So I don't think it'll make any significant difference in my position. So I'll probably not. I'll just move my stop to that 150 on a close through that 157.90 level. I'll move my stop to 150. 47 level, and again, if we can get through 162, then I'll add to my position on Shoprite. Transaction capital, similarly to Distal, my probably amongst my oldest trades and my biggest trades, about 15% of my portfolio is sitting on Distal. I mean, rather on transaction capital, sitting at about 7% profit. No, I'm sorry, about 20 odd percent profits on transaction capital. If you can get through the 38.40 level, I'll add to my position with a stop loss just below that traffic there, around the 36 rand level, or just below that low there, around the 35 rand and some change on transaction capital. I like giving my stops a little bit of room, so I have two places to place a stop now, and I like placing my stop before I even, stop loss is the first player on my team sheet. So I like placing them before deciding or before entering to a position, or before I even get triggered into a trade. I like to place levels where I would like to place a stop. With a close through 69 rand 20 level, I'll add to my position with a stop loss around that 55.30 level. I do suspect that over the next few days there'll be a bit of pulling back on true words. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to preempt anything there. And we'll see where the market then stops. And the low of that swing low would be my next stop. And when we get it close through that 59.20 level, then I'll add it to my position. But if we don't have a sell off or a pullback a little bit and directly get a close through that 59.20, I'll put my stop just below the low of that gapping candle there. That would display a bit of momentum, but we'll see. The longer this 57, 58 level stays without being touched, I'm going to like that a little bit as a stop loss. Lastly is Woolies. Woolies had a false breakout there, which I missed because it was way. So if you can get it closed through again, that 55, 80, 55, 78 level, I'll add to my position with stop loss at about that 51.98 level. Yeah, liking Woolies quite a bit. So coming to some questions. First was Robert on Citrix 40. Let me go to there it is. So firstly, I typically trade Citrix 40 on the laser system, and the laser system has triggered a short, but I don't trade. I don't trade on the short side, but it has triggered a short position, a short, because the 30-day exponential moving average is below the 60-day exponential moving average, and we had a close through the 15-period exponential moving average. So a close below today's close would confirm the short, but I don't short at this point in time. I don't short the markets. So taking those off, looking at a different pair of technical eyes, it looks like it's still range bound between that 63.50 and that 60 rand level. But perhaps if we can start to get a close back through that 50-day exponential moving average, it will provide a good buy. Yeah, if you can get through that 61 rand 66 level, it will provide a good buy to start building a position, waiting, but it will get properly, it will start running properly if you can get through at that 63, 56 level. Perhaps if we can also get let me see, what's that high, that last high close, it was at 63.54. If you can get through the 63 54, that will be an even better entry. But for now, it's still range bound, and it's understandable because it had quite a bit of a run. I mean, from that low there, it had quite a bit of a run, about 100 odd points. Yeah, so it's understandable why it would consolidate quite for quite a bit there on Citrix 40. I hope that helps there, Robert. And Rich, thank you very much, and thank you very much for welcoming me back. Yeah, the trade alerts on Searches 40 will be going out if we do get triggered. But I had due to time constraints, I'll start. I won't be looking at the US market. I won't be looking at the S&P or the Russell 2000. It just doesn't work for time purposes. But I will for Citrix 40. Marlo is looking for Vodacom. There you go. Vodacom is still quite range bound, with a bit of volatility. I don't like that price action there, but I would like it better. It will be more definitive if we can get through. If we can get a new high close at 137, I'll start be interested in Vodacom there above that 137. But there could be an argument on starting to build a position once you the way this chart is such a cheese grater. If we can get through that resistance level there at that 130, just above that 50-day exponential moving average, there is perhaps a case that you can start building a position, perhaps with a stop loss below, away from traffic, or a tighter stop just below the 200-day exponential moving average, just below that swing low there. The reason why I would like to pull it much further to that 121 level is more often than not, the stock Vodacom, when it does fall to the floor, it easily just passes through the 200-day exponential moving average, even though it would subsequently close back above it. So I don't think that's enough distance to give. As you can see here, when it does break through the 200-day exponential moving average, it breaks by some distance. So at least if I can give it enough at that 121.54 level, that would be much better. Also nice a higher low, but on a stock like this, I would rather buy it once we get through that craziness there, because we can just as easily go back to that 109 level. So I'm not have zero conviction on Vodacom. So I'd rather wait out the 138, close through that 138 level. Ladies and gents, I'm not seeing more questions coming in. If we do have a chart, yeah, so I'm not seeing questions coming in, but I would like to share. Where is it? Share. To share. So while I was away, I did some analysis looking at my trades. It gave me an opportunity to look at my positions and both closed and open, and do a little bit of analysis. So these trades are trades that are recorded once since I've refined my system to what it is right now. Uh, uh, Since the early this year, around January. So I've taken I've taken about what is it? 71 trades. 17 of them were winners, and 54. That's a significantly low hit rate, But a caveat here is that my average return is twice as big as my average uh, uh, um, uh, it's twice as big as my average loss, giving me an R multiple of two times, and my largest win being 1.8 times bigger than the my largest loss. As you can see, the distribution between wins and losses. Uh, if you can take these returns here and randomize them, none of them, you can randomize them 100 times, none of those sample size will take you to the cleaners just because of that risk management. An average loss here is about 2%, 1%. And then when you're looking at the open positions, I have a similar, these are my open positions. Um, as you can see here, I have the worst case scenario right now is that I make 6 to 7% return. We'll get to those numbers in just a moment. As you can see, the largest open risk is that Exaro trade, whereby that largest risk is that Exaro trade because I got quite a bit of a dividend on Exaro, and it's just closing and reducing. As you can see, my next potential stop loss would be at that 161.40, reducing that risk to 3%, and then ultimately once we get to that 1%, I'll start adding to the position. Just out being the biggest one, with a 42% win. I think this is just down, and I'm sitting at 7% transaction capital. As you can see, my on average, my wins are slightly much bigger than my losses, which is what you want. So that even if you're wrong, if I come back here with a win rate of 23%, um, I would need about a hit rate of about 18%. I mean, with an average return of four times, I would need I would need a hit rate of about 18% to break even. So this is I'm surpassing that by quite a bit. Meaning I have a quantifiable edge. So looking at open trades, I have 21 open trades at the minute. My win rate isn't high. So this win rate is calculated using. I never look at my gross P&L. I never look at this part. I always focus on my risk. So that what is it? These wins and losses are determined by what would happen if my stop is hit. So if all my stops are hit overnight by some voodoo magic, I would have a 38% hit rate. But now, if you look at my average return, it's now 7.6 times bigger than my average loss. And then my largest win is 8 times bigger than my average loss. So when you if my on average, if my wins are bigger than my losses, I can afford to be wrong a lot. Um, so just wanted to share that. And looking at the equity curve, so it's approaching a year since we started the series, and I've been tracking I unitized my portfolio. I've been tracking the progress since we started, and this is the equity curve. As you can see, it started quite badly, trading at the tail end of the bear market day. But things started to change at the turn of the year. And so this first part of when we first started the series, I didn't have a solid system that I have now. Secondly, and then coming into the latter part of the second half of the series, and I had now quantifiable edge. I've had been learning from my mistakes, learning from the trades, learning with you guys, getting better and better as a trader, as it shows on the equity curve. And I also benchmark myself against the top 40. So this is the blue line is my equity curve, and then the red line is the Citrix 40. As you can see, I spent quite a bit of time below the trailing the Citrix 40, but now it's behind me. So I'm in a sense outperforming the benchmark at the minute by, let's see, by 11%. That's an 11% outperformance there. And so this is a theoretical 1,000 Rand invested in my portfolio if I invested in myself as a portfolio manager, and 1,000 Rand invested in Citrix 40 at the same time, same day. And then today, 1,000 Rand, it's now about 20% higher, and with Citrix 40 it's about 10% higher, so that's about 11% difference there. So yeah, guys, yeah, keep track on keep journaling, and if you want a copy of this, do give a shot. It will be on the show notes as well. Yes, the so Nkosing Pil is asking if the spreadsheet is available. It is available. You can make a copy. So you would just come here and click file and make copy, and then it will be able to use it for like you'll be able to edit it, but I'm the only one who's able to edit it. But if you make a copy for your own, you'll have access to all the tabs. I have a risk calculator here. I put my account balance, I change it, it's a manual entry, and my account balance, and okay, if I just quickly get that, it is 5,324 88. If I bring back there 5,008 5,324, and the equity is 13,559. So I have about a 50% return. Yeah, so yeah. Anyway, Kosimpilo, you will have access. You follow the previous YouTube series. The link to the spreadsheet is there. If you have a standard stock account, thick markets, are you able to trade offshore stocks? Yes, you can. So just close that. So you can trade the offshore markets with a ZAR account. However, every time you make a trade, you cross the ZAR spread and then take the position. So I would rather, what I did was create a USD account, with $100 and traded the US markets. But I've since I thought I closed these positions. Let me close them now. Because I don't want to. I thought I closed these positions. Anyway, yeah. So you can you can trade them with a ZAR account, and you can also. But my preference would be converting ZARs into USDs and then trading the USDs, as opposed to crossing the spread every time you place a trade, because there's costs involved. I hope that helps. Luke, some more questions. How often do I update my spreadsheet? Every day. I go through my charts every day, and every time I enter a position where, if I'm getting right, I'm getting you right, Adrich, you're talking about the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is updated every day as and when things are changing in my portfolio, that trades are getting stopped out. I'm entering new trades. I update it as action is happening on the portfolio, and then the unit value is tracked every day. So every day I update. What is it? So every day, whatever happens, whether I have a closed position or not, I will update. I update. I track. Update the spreadsheet with the account, the account balance of the day, the closing account balance of the day after 5 p.m. ladies and gents, if there's no more questions, I'm not seeing any more questions or any more chat requests. If there's any more, feel free to drop them up quickly. If not, we can park it here. And if you do have questions after we close today, feel free to drop me an email, njabulo@villagetrader.co.za. I know some of you are probably sending DMs on Twitter. The best place at the minute is my email, njabulo@villagetrader.co.za, because I'm away from social media. I'm still dealing with personal matters and the like. Ladies and gents, I'm seeing no more questions. I'm gonna park it here. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll join again next week. Remember, the video will be up on YouTube in just a bit. Do subscribe to the channel. I started doing some practice session. Oh yeah, let me just quickly, while I still have you guys, let me just quickly show you something that I like using quite a bit on the Think Markets platform. Let me just reopen. So when you're opening the Think Markets platform, there's a tab there, Traders Gym. Just wait for this thing to load a little bit. There's a tab, Traders Gym, that you can log into. What it does, it gives you you can pick any stocks, South African and offshore, and you can trade the historical data of that stock. I have a couple of videos on YouTube looking at those. There it is. Okay. So if you're logging into your Think Trader platform, you go to Traders Gym and then log in there. Just bring that back into the right screen. Yeah, you can just add an account, whatever amount that you want, whatever currency. I think there's only these major currencies there. I just typically use the USD one. You can pick any random stock that you want. Just pick Heineken. It will give you a year's worth of range, but you can change it as you see fit, up to 5 years worth of data. Can go as far as you want. Sometimes there isn't any data period, but yeah. And then okay, let me just load this as it is, and then you can now move. And of course, just like you can change the time frame, settings, still draw stuff. Technical indicators will be available. Choose whether you want a daily chart or weekly chart, and you can choose the speed here. If you want the speed to be an hourly chart, a minute chart, or whatever you want. So the highest speed that you'll find here would be the one that you picked. So I picked an hourly chart. You can either press play, see it'll start moving. Okay, I chose back into an hourly chart. If you press play, it'll, so you still have that uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen next. But you can practice your edge, you can test your edge, you can test your system, you can test your ideas without having to you don't have to wait for candles to close on a demo account or that sort of thing. If you're testing ideas, you can just test them out, and you can test them out on different time frames. I use that quite a bit. I do have a couple of practice videos on the YouTube channel there. You can guys check them out. I don't talk over them. I just play some music in the background, because when I get through my practice session, I just like to focus and not talk a lot. So yeah, it's a feature on Traders Gym on Think Trader platform that's quite useful, that I find useful. That I find useful. So yeah, that's it from me, ladies and gents. Hope that is useful. If you do have questions, again, you do drop me an inbox, njabulo@villagetrader.co.za. Otherwise, we'll check you again next week. Wash your hands, stay safe. There's I don't know, the 5th, 7th wave. Ladies and gents, have a great evening. See you again next week. Cheers.